Hey Flower Tribe, it's Kelly Lehman and Lucy Lehman, and I'm coming to you from behind the camera today. So thank you so much for joining me live, or if you're joining me on the repost, that's awesome too. Just thanks for being here. So I want to show you guys some of the evergreen plants that we have around the farm here and around the landscaping in the front of my house, because some of you have asked me to talk about the names of some of them, because I know a lot of you are doing landscaping, and so I wanted to let you know the who's who of the landscaping plants that I have here. So the first shrub that's up is a yew. It's spelled Y-E-W, and these are super easy to maintain. You can see I have them all over our landscaping here. They make for like a really great, like a boundary or a border. So you can tell I have like two arborvites anchoring that back row over there of the yews. So there's a few of those taller green gals. They're called arborvites, and they're right here also. So Lucy's sitting right in front of that tall guy. And I like the idea of having almost like these guys are like two sentries when you walk into the front of my home. And next to them are the yews. So the deer love to eat these gals though, that's the only thing. But what we do is we have Save a Tree come out, and they'll give them a spray in January, because the deer usually will leave them alone this time of year because there's so much food for them in the woods that they won't come looking for the yews. But in January and February, we used to find that they would come out and they would devour them. So we have Save a Tree come, they give them like a little spray, and that's pretty cool because then they leave them alone for the entire season, and then the spray kind of, when the new growth comes, you know, the spray's kind of gone, it kind of overtakes the spray, and then it's fine. So let me know where you guys are viewing from today. What's the weather like by you guys? It looks super sunny here in New Jersey, but it's actually kind of cold. So I'm out here actually with the winter coat right now. It was super warm. I think it was just last week, and now it's like super chilly again. So let me know where you guys are viewing this from today. I love to see who's here, and I love to know if you guys have any questions or, you know, any garden questions while we're talking, and I'll try to keep up with them in the chat. So also let me know, can you guys hear me okay? I always want to make sure the sound check is okay. So if you can give me like a little thumbs up or a little, let me know what's the what. That's great. Lucy is chilling. Hey, Victor, how are you? Thank you. It's always good to see your comments here because I know you guys can hear me. I always have this vision of me like blabbing on for like a half an hour and then later on being like, well, the audio is off. So it's chilly in Detroit. Oh, wow. My daughter went to Michigan, so I totally get that. Oh, my God. What a great place. Okay, so let's get back to these yews. So these yews are also the plant that you guys have seen. Let me take you for like a quick little stroll here. I'm going to try not to make you nauseous as we're walking. So the yews are back here, but a lot of you have asked me what the evergreen shrub is in front of the hydrangeas, because I have a lot of hydrangea care videos. And there's one video that has like over 1 million views. It's how to get more blooms from your hydrangea. And in front of that beautiful row of hydrangeas, I have more yews. So this is what yews look like back here. Hey, from Lancaster. How are you, Carney? Thanks for checking in from New York. I'm originally a New Yorker. I come from Long Island. So here's what the yews look like in more of like a rounded form. So I've got the hydrangeas to the left over here. I've got some ivy coming up on the wall next to it. And we have like a stone pathway. And I just showed you the front of the house had like very straight lines for the yews. Well, this is what you could do with your yews if you want more of a curved look. So it kind of follows this path into the backyard. But when we planted them, you know, we just planted them so that it followed the curve of this path. And so it has more of a rounded look. So you can really kind of mold these evergreens to kind of fit your purpose. And then over here, you can tell it kind of wraps around again, and it has more of like a rounded view. So yews are great to play with like that. And they're usually less expensive than boxwoods, but I'm going to show you the boxwoods in a bit. But anyway, so these are the yews that are in front of this hydrangea row. So these are my endless summer hydrangeas. This is what they look like now. But it's kind of pretty to have like an offset, almost like a framing out. So the yews kind of frame them out. And if you can imagine these hydrangeas in bright blue form in back of the yews, it's a really beautiful look. And you can check out that look in that video, how to get more blooms from your hydrangeas. So that's the yews back here. And as you can tell, we live with the woods right in back of us. So the deer used to come up here and they absolutely used to just have a feast. And then we'd have big giant holes and gaps. But ever since we started spraying them with that deer repellent, that seemed to work a lot. So let me back up. So that's the yews. That's the story with that. And that's one of the most popular questions I was getting. Let us know what that is. So YEW, that's the yew. I love that. And let me show you some of the other guys here. As another, almost like a barrier plant, I've got burning bush back here. This is the burning bush plant. And it's actually deciduous though. So this guy is not an evergreen, but I wanted to show you a great, like a blocker plant. And these gals turn bright red in autumn. So just another terrific landscaping idea. And I'm not sure if you could tell all the petals kind of blowing away. I've got some ornamental pear trees that are lining the driveway. There's a bunch of beautiful petals blowing in the air there. So I've got some ilex mountain holly, and that's these evergreens right here. And once again, we just kind of made a rounded bed with them. You could tell the leaves are different. They're more rounded, a little fluffier. And the deer seem to leave these guys alone more than the yews, but they will still go after them when they're hungry enough. And these gals are really pretty. Sometimes though, I notice that they get a little bit leggy. And what I mean by that is that, see how there's not like a full coverage of leaves down here? So I had to move a couple of them that I had in the front of our house. We had like a whole bunch of those covering this wall here. Let me show you what this wall looks like, because right now it's naked. So I'm looking for suggestions. I removed a whole bunch of those ilex there. Oh, the Wi-Fi's getting weak. Oh, thanks. Okay, so I'm going back to the house. Tell me if it's better, Diane. Does that sound better now that I move closer to the house? Because sometimes my Wi-Fi goes rogue when I go away from the house. Let me know if you guys can see better now. I used to have the ilex mountain hollies right here, but they just looked all leggy, so I removed them. And now I think I'm going to wind up putting hydrangeas here. South Jersey. Hi, Liza. It's chilly today. You're looking to plant evergreens for privacy. Oh, I don't know why the comments keep cutting out fast. Maybe because of that Wi-Fi. If you want, can you repost that question? Because I got half of it and then it disappeared. Let me go back over here. I want to show you my boxwood plants. These are awesome. And these are a little more expensive usually. Oh, much better. Oh, thank you, guys. I appreciate that. Because otherwise I would have kept talking and I would have been like this big fuzzy cloud. So these are Boxwoods. And these are really beautiful. These are like the fancy ones. Hey, Lorna, kiddo, how are you? So these gals are super beautiful. They're kind of like my fancy evergreens, I call them, because they're like a little more formal. The only thing with these guys is that sometimes they'll get like a little worm inside of them. And we just had to get them treated. Let's see. You love the yews. Oh, Liza Gates, I'm trying to read your question here. Liza wants to know to plant. Oh, darn. I keep losing your comments. I don't know why the questions are not showing up long enough for me. They keep cutting out. Anyway, back to these guys. So the boxwoods sometimes get like this little tiny, I think it's called maybe like a leaf miner. And what happens is they start to look really crummy. Right now we had them treated, so these guys are looking really good. But they wound up looking something like this in the beginning of the season. And what happened is we started noticing that they were yellow. We had Save a Tree come out, and the guy that was treating these said to me, if you put your ear next to the leaves, you can actually hear them. You can hear like the larvae. And what happened was you can tell on the back of some of these leaves, there was actually some bumps. There was like big fat bumps in there. And in the back of each of those bumps, we kind of peeled it back, and we actually saw these like little tiny worms. And actually here they are. Hello. So if you look back here, there's like little bumps. And if I had like two hands free, I would peel that away and you would actually see like the worms back there. Let me see if maybe I could peel this back with my nail. Kind of yuck, kind of like a yuck moment for our coffee, but I think they're underneath there. Bear with me here. Yep, there they are. Hold on, let me try to get in here better. Can you guys see those wiggling around? I know it's getting a little, let me try to pull him out more. I'm like roasting you guys out over your coffee. So there's all little like worms in there. So what Save-A-Tree did was they noticed that, and the problem is once you start getting those worms in these boxwoods, they'll take over like the whole line of them. And so we had them, they looked really crummy around the whole kit and caboodle. The whole house looked like that. So they came in, they treated these, they gave it like a high nitrogen fertilizer because evergreens love a lot of nitrogen. It makes the leaves super green. And they also gave it a kelp treatment. Some people like to add kelp to their evergreens because it gives it like a huge nutrient boost. And so it's like a two-step procedure, they told me. First thing they did was they gave it like that super like nitrogen charge, and then they gave it the kelp treatment, and then they're going to come back I think in a couple weeks when I think these guys start to hatch. There's some sort of, you have to wait for like a certain time to actually treat them to get rid of them, and I think it's probably when they're hatching. So that's the only thing with the boxwoods though, they do get that disease. So, oh, thank you, Janet. Appreciate that. So yeah, so these are the boxwoods, and like I said, they're super, like gorgeous and fluffy, and they're a little more expensive. And this is the first time I've ever had a problem with them, with like the worms. But other than that, I haven't had an issue. So I love the boxwoods. I love the yews I showed you guys. I love the mountain hollies, the ilexes, and I have some ivy all over the house I wanted to show you guys. And I put like these plants in, I don't know, about maybe 4 or 5 years ago. And we needed like just an added element to the house because it was just very plain. You'll notice I don't have any shutters. It has stone, but there was just like a lot of blank space, and I didn't know how to dress it up. And I love the idea of putting ivy on the house. So we've got ivy here, and I've got a rose trellis in front of it that I'm waiting to bloom for for this year. But the problem with the ivy is it grows into the house. So right there is like a bathroom, and we actually had ivy growing into the bathroom at one point. It was going through the cracks of the window, and like if you went to my bathroom, the guest bathroom, you would see like these giant ivy vines stretching up, which was kind of cool, but I had to cut it back because it was going to break the window. And also the ivy grew into the gutters. So you have to keep your ivy in check, and just be careful when you cut it, because if you cut it at the wrong spot, you get these big giant brown patches that you can kind of see. And what else did I want to show you guys? I have a magnolia tree here that's super pretty. And today's cup of caffeine is brought to you by Joe from New Jersey. Thank you, Joe. He went on my YouTube sponsor page and he bought me a cup of coffee because he liked my content, which was super sweet. And he gave me some cute comments. So if you are interested and you like my content, I'll leave it in descriptions below, a little supporters page if you ever want to buy me a cup of coffee. And guys, please hop on over to my Kelly Lehman's Flower Tribe YouTube Facebook group. I'm sorry, I said YouTube. It's not YouTube. It's my Kelly Lehman's Flower Tribe Facebook group. And you guys can post pictures of your own gardens and ask tons of garden questions there. And gardeners from all over the world are responding and giving answers. And I can't always get to all the questions you give me, but a lot of times our Flower Tribe will show up there. And you guys are doing a great job at answering each other's questions. And I appreciate that. So let me just see if there was anything else I wanted to show you about with some of these varieties. Oh, if you guys are to hear that alarm in them. Oh, no. Oh, no sound. Here we go. Is there still no sound? Oh, hi, Hugh. It's nice to see you again. I'm glad you joined the Facebook group. That's awesome. Thank you for showing up each week. Can you guys hear the sound again besides that big alarm that just went off? That was very unfortunate. I'm so sorry. So with these arborvitaes, I cut into these. I used to cut into them for like Christmas arrangements. And what I realized is when you cut into them, they don't always grow back. So I had like big giant gaping holes in them. So be careful with that. Oh, the sound is good now. Okay, great. Thank you guys. I'm sorry for these little mishaps today. I gotta get my act together with this filming when we're going live. So yeah, so that's the story with that. And I don't know. Listen, guys, the best time if you're going to be planting some of these evergreens or doing your landscaping, the best time to do the planting is in fall, like at least 6 weeks before the first frost. But if you can't do it in fall, spring is a terrific time also. Spring is like the second best time. But just make sure you keep up with the watering. And if you have to put some of these guys in the ground in summer, that's okay too. But just make sure that you keep up with the watering, and it's important to apply mulch. Oh, but here's an important tip, guys. Don't apply mulch to the base of the plant. A lot of times people will apply mulch and then they'll wind up building it all the way up against like the trunk of the plant, almost to the point where it's like a mountain. And that's not good, because plants, especially evergreens, need a lot of air circulation. So you can tell there's like a lot of airflow available here. But if you have a ton of mulch built up against that, you can have a whole bunch of fungal issues. So you don't want to do that. So now's a great time to kind of put them in the ground. If you don't want to wait until fall, put them in now and just keep up with the watering, especially until they get established. And that's the story. So, all right, guys. Well, I hope to see you over on my Kelly Lehman's Flower Tribe Facebook group. And, oh, someone said, have I ever tried Nellie Stevens Holly? No, is that a great evergreen? I'd like to know that. What do you guys think? Do you guys have other evergreens that you find that are easy to grow for your landscaping? How long do you have your arborvitae? It's huge. Oh, that's a great question. So I think these gals are about, I'd say about 10 to 15 years old. And I think they kind of stopped growing finally, but they were so much smaller. I think I put them in the ground when they were probably about 4 feet tall, and they were about maybe a quarter of that size. And listen, they just take a while, but they've been super easy to grow. And I have to say, all the stuff here, I don't have any sprinkler system in place. So all the green that you see here is just from Mother Nature. And I actually have like a little garden in the back over there. I want to put some knockout roses back there. And once again, those yews just kind of defined it. I just kind of did like a square spacing there. So Jenna said, will I do a full garden tour? Yep, so I actually just did a garden tour in April, but I'm going to be doing hopefully 2 in May, because people seem to like to walk through the garden and the flower farm, so I'm going to try to give you more of those. So I'm going to have a May garden tour coming up soon, and I'm going to have a ton of peony tips coming up soon, guys. We have about, I don't know, like maybe like a few thousand peonies coming up in my farm, the flower farm in the background. So we're going to start doing a ton of peony tutorials, and we always have a ton of hydrangea, how to care for your hydrangea videos. That's kind of like what I think I'm known for right now. And sunflowers too, yep. Oh, and so Carrie said be careful with the ivy too, because it'll suck the moisture from the mortar. Oh, that's interesting. Yes, I know. When I first put all this ivy up, my husband was like, are you crazy? He's like, it's going to be coming into the house and ruining the foundation. So we put this ivy in probably about 10, 15 years ago. And we haven't, I haven't really had issues with it, but I know that some people do have issues with it. So, you might want to just rethink that, because it could be a problem, and it could, cause some problems with your mortar or your brick. But I don't know. I went for it and I love it and I'm really happy with it. But yes, it can be a problem. As I'm saying this, I'm looking at it as it's eating its way into this drain pipe, which is probably making a complete clog right now. Let's see. Yeah, so I have to make sure that I cut all around that drain pipe, so that's a problem. Oh, I saw how to get your questions back. I just tapped my screen. Okay, finally. Okay, now I figured this out. I appreciate you guys learning with me, because I'm trying to really figure out this YouTube thing. So thank you for being patient. I know I'm not the best filmer and I'm not the best techie person, but you guys are super patient and I really appreciate that. And do I trim them sometimes? Oh, great question. So I will trim these guys. I try to do it maybe like once a year. And you're supposed to do most of your pruning when your plant is dormant. So, if there's, if some of the plants are just looking, like really, really big, we'll give them a pruning. But I have to say, a lot of times with this yew, and this is like my dad's trick. I don't know that it's actually like, kosher for like the best gardening trick that's out there. But we always kind of waited until all this new growth came in, because all this bright green growth on the top that you see gets really big and bushy. And we would always wind up kind of like cutting it with the hedge clipper when it got like, like really big. But I know the rule of thumb is you're supposed to like do the pruning back of all your plants when it's dormant. But I don't know, back in Long Island, we would always just kind of prune it once the sky got really fluffy. So we kind of still do that now, and it works. But I think that if you kind of research that, you might be better off doing it when it's dormant. But I wait until that new growth comes in. And when is the best time to trim it? I trim it around this time of year, but I don't know if that's the absolute best time to do it, but that's when we do it here at Cranberry Fields, and it seems to work. So I don't want to give you guys bad advice. I'm just kind of telling you what seems to work for us. And so I guess that's it. But thanks again, guys, for joining me. I appreciate it. And I will see you next Thursday at 10:30 a.m. And I'm hoping this time works for you. I think I saw somebody's comment before, which was interesting. They said, have you considered coming up with a different time? Possibly. This seems to work out the best with my schedule, with not having like a ton of people in and out of the house right now. Because sometimes we have 4 kids and in-laws, and kids are always coming and going, and even though most of them don't live at home anymore, there's always like a slew of people at the house, which is awesome, but it's also super busy. So I hope you guys can continue to meet me at this time on Thursdays at 10:30 a.m. And I will see you over on Kelly Lehman's Flower Tribe Facebook group. And please come say hi to us on Instagram. So Instagram, I have a free sunflower seed giveaway this week. So check that out. If you look at the post, it has a sunflower on it. It's kind of yellow, and it was an Inspiration Monday post. And if you read that description, I have in there how to win some free sunflower seeds. I think it says something like tag someone on Instagram that was creative, something like that. So check that out in case you're interested in winning some of my free sunflower seeds. And I've been sending free sunflowers to a lot of people on that Facebook group who are answering each other's questions and who are posting questions. So I like to hop over there at least 2 or 3 times a week to say hi and to see what's going on and to just say thanks for showing up. And I'll offer like random sunflower seeds from my flower farm that I give away. And thank you, Mary. I love the lives. Thank you. I always feel like I'm such a failure whenever I'm done with these lives, but I appreciate that. I appreciate the support because once again, I know I'm not the world's best techie person. So I'm going to keep giving you guys great garden tips. Oh, and you love the group. Oh, Janet, that's terrific to know. Yeah, I have to say that Facebook group is awesome, aren't they? And they talk back and forth, and there'll be like 7 answers to 1 question, and people are posting their spring flowers. It's really exciting. And I love when everyone tells us where they're from. So like people will say like, I'm from Michigan, I'm from Poland, and I'm from Australia. So that's super fun. So guys, if you can do me a favor before you leave the chat, just let me know where you're from. Let me know where you viewed this video from, because that's so interesting to me. That just, I don't know why I get so excited when I see the different places where you guys were as you were viewing this. And that would be super great if you could do that before you leave. And if you have any garden questions, let me know that in comments below, because a lot of times I will make more videos based on the questions that you give me during these videos. Oh, so we've got Ohio. So Nicholas, you're from Northeast Ohio. Awesome. Love that. Connecticut. Chris, nice to see you from Connecticut. Hugh, you're from Virginia. Oh, Zone B. Oh, thank you for letting me hear you guys again. This darn alarm. I have to make sure that's turned off. You know what the alarm told me? The alarm told me don't forget to go live. So I'm just being a fool again. Janice, you're from Alabama. Oh, PM Patty, Arkansas. Wow. You guys are all over the place. I hope it warms up here this weekend. Oh, Mother's Day weekend's coming up. Victoria, Canada. Oh, and guys, I want you to know I'm going to be doing a pre-sale for the peonies that are coming up. So I'm going to start advertising that soon. I'm going to be doing, because we ship our burlap wrapped flower bouquets nationwide, and people always want the peonies, but we always sell out of them super fast. So I'm going to set up a system where you can kind of pre-order them, and you can kind of like snag your peonies ahead of time. And if you're interested, you can just let me know in comments below, or you can send me an email at kellylehman@cranberryfields.com and let me know that you're interested in that peony pre-sale. So, all right, guys, well, I'm going to take off and get some of these Mother's Day flower orders shipped out today. And I will see you all in the next video. Thanks again for joining us. Say bye, Lucy.